Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's greet Ryan, Wang, Lars.
Thank you so much.
And I would kindly ask you to present yourself by yourself.
Yeah,
Is that
absolutely.
Fine? Okay, you go.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nadia, for the kind of introduction and for this opportunity to share with you tonight about what I do and what MOAC does. Also, thank you very much to Rish, my good friend, and also he's the founder of the Rogue Initiative, which is a company I invested 2 years ago, and has been a very good friend and a very good colleague as well. And also, I'd like to thank you for say thank you for the Minsk Venture Day, Nadia, Tonia, and all the team members from Minsk Venture Day to give me all the opportunities to come over to Minsk. And it's actually my first time in my life in Minsk, and I'm totally impressed. And I said yesterday, and I have to say it again, that I love Minsk and I love Belarus. Yeah, so a little bit about myself. My name is Ryan Wang. I'm the founding partner with Outpost Capital. So Outpost Capital is a seed stage venture capital firm based in San Francisco. So we invested a lot of frontier technology startups. So a lot of VR, AR startups. And starting from 2017, we did a number of pre-ICOs. So far, we have a portfolio company of about 13, 14 blockchain companies in our portfolio. So pretty big portfolio size. And also, MOAC is a company that we incubated last year in January. So till now, it's been a little bit over a year. And also recently, I joined MOAC myself as well as a Chief Business Development Officer to basically set up a biz dev team and help the company to achieve its business-oriented goal. So enough said, I'd like to give you a very basic introduction about the problem we are trying to solve with MOAC. And starting from there, we are also lucky enough tonight to be able to have the CEO of MOAC, David Chen. So he will join us remotely, and he will share you with more information about exactly how MOAC works. And I think tonight the crowd is amazing. You are amazing, because I just heard that you just asked a lot of amazing questions. So I like to give you guys a challenge in terms of that. When David is presenting, I want you guys to listen as carefully as possible. And during the Q&A session, I want you guys to come up with most challenging questions to David. So let's have some very interesting conversations starting from here. Enough said, let's get to the fun part. So with MOAC, we really try to solve a trilemma problem that has been with the blockchain architecture for quite a long time, which is it's hard to provide a blockchain that is secure, that is scalable, and that has good decentralization. So as we know, like projects like Ethereum, the security is awesome. It's a very decentralized platform, but it's not very scalable. And the other platforms like EOS, it has good security, it's very scalable, but it's not that decentralized. So with MOAC, what we are really trying to do is that we are trying to provide a platform that is that can solve this problem: secure, scalable, and decentralized. And also, there are a few other problems we are trying to tap into with MOAC. So one of the challenge is that in blockchain 1.0, we have enabled payments, and with Ethereum, we have enabled smart contract. But at this point, it's still very difficult. Technically, it's a little bit challenging for everyone to create new blockchains. You need to set up the nodes. You need to deploy a new version of the blockchain. You need to make all these configurations and define your consensus protocol and to make the whole thing work. So basically, a new idea here is, what if we can create new blockchain very easily? What if we have a new platform that, in addition to creating smart contracts, we are able to create new blockchains very easily? So that would be amazing. And this is the other thing we want to achieve with MOAC. Last but not least, we want to achieve, we want to create a better ecosystem by providing a better platform to the market. So we know that, right now each of the blockchain is isolated. The Bitcoin blockchain is not able to interact with the Ethereum blockchain directly. So how can we interconnect all the blockchain? And also, there are always some hard fork situation happen to a lot of blockchains. And every time when a hard fork situation happens, the community behind that blockchain is actually separated, and it make the value of the blockchain decrease by the separation of the community behind it. So how can we interconnect all of the blockchains? And also, how can we make the mining process of the blockchain make more sense? Right now, we know that if you can solve a Bitcoin blockchain block, you got a reward for 12.5 Bitcoin per block. So the block size is very limited and the reward is limited. The more computing power join this ecosystem, the smaller each of the pie will be. So this is not healthy. A healthy ecosystem should be, if I can provide more computing power to the ecosystem, everybody should benefit more instead of benefit less from the ecosystem. And also there are a lot of challenges, like right now, the dApp ecosystem is not very friendly. Think about it. Let me ask this question. Of all the applications in your smartphone as of today, does any of you use any applications that's powered by blockchain on a daily basis? Raise up your hand. Well, not surprising, right? Nobody is using any app that is powered by blockchain today. We've been talking about dApps forever, but why? Why even today we don't have anyone using any dApps? Are we just talking about some dreams that are not able to be achieved? I don't think so. But the reality is, we haven't adopted dApp. What's the reason? In my opinion, whether an application is good or not should not be affected by whether this application is based on blockchain or not. As an end user, I don't care about whether this application is based on blockchain or is not based on blockchain technology. I don't care about that. As a user, all I'm care about is whether this application is easy to use or not easy to use. Do I take 5 seconds to start use the application, or do I take 5 minutes to set up in order to use the application? And for any users, they don't want to deal with the key management, how you manage a private key, how do you manage your wallet, and all this mess. And it doesn't make sense as well for the users to pay for the transactions. In the traditional app architecture, it's a developer's responsibility to use a service like AWS to provide a good level of service to the customers. And the customers, on their end, things should be as easy as possible. So the burden should be really on the developer side instead on the user side. But at this point, all the dApps we have so far just make the things reversed. And I think, with what we have as of today, we can never have good enough dApps that people will adopt. And of course, we have some technical challenges, right, that we all know. The Ethereum has been running on, 20 TPS, and that's not even enough to support one simple application like CryptoKitties. And how can we imagine a day when a platform with like Ethereum can support like millions of applications running on its platform. So a lot of challenges are ahead for the next generation of blockchain infrastructures. And I think, for some of you who went to my session yesterday, I mentioned that dApp is the thing for blockchain industry. Without dApp, the blockchain industry is not going anywhere. So we really need to see the actual adoption of dApps. But in order to achieve that, we need to have a good enough blockchain infrastructure to support a good dApp ecosystem. So these are the problems we try to solve with MOAC. And with this, I think it's a good time to join us to welcome David Chen, the CEO of MOAC, to give us a remote presentation on how MOAC solved all these problems. So can we connect David to Skype? I think he should have already sent you a message. No, I mentioned that he has a hard deadline. So David will be available for 30 minutes. So I'm gonna ask him to go over the basics as soon as possible, and I try my best to give us enough time for Q&A sessions.
Okay, yeah, maybe when we figure it out, so somebody can have questions. No, yes, just a couple.
Right.
Right. Thank you for the presentation. It was awesome.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask you a question. Have you ever heard about a company, Telegram, a messenger?
Yeah.
What do you think about Telegram Open Network? You might probably talk upon this.
Right. I mean, it's a good idea. I love the idea. And also they have the advantage of having the existing Telegram user base, right? But I mean, in terms of the actual delivery date, it's I remember it's like sometime next year, right? But the reality is we have so many dApp developers at this point. They are creating so many applications right now. So I don't think it's good enough. It's a good enough answer to our dev community that, hey, let's wait until next year to ship some platforms so that people can deploy the dApps too. Right. So I think, it's one thing to have a plan, but it's the other thing to have something that's ready to go right now. And with MOAC, actually, we launched our mainnet just 2 weeks ago. So all the features are now ready to go, and users can now deploy dApps on our platform.
Okay, thank you. I'll appreciate it. Another one question related to community.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any plans on your side just to grow that community as opposed to Ethereum or any other?
Yeah, I mean, Ethereum so far has done an awesome job in growing its developer community, right? And I think, definitely there are a lot of lessons could be learned from how Ethereum has been developing their community so that we can grow our community. So I think community is essential for any blockchain infrastructure, right? And so far, the core team of MOAC has been very humble, very down to earth, and focus pretty much 100% on technology and the product. And starting from here, and this is part of the reason why I step up and try to help MOAC become more successful. So I think we need to be more aggressive to basically set up the community around MOAC and started to get the developers excited about it, to learn more about it, and also to start work on projects on it.
I suppose you'd better be much more aggressive to grow faster than any other blockchain community.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Online, I suppose.
Yeah. Thank you. And I would say that technology-wise, we might be ahead of others, but community-wise, we realize that we are behind of a lot of existing projects and competitors. But what we believe is that at the end of the day, we need to deliver something, right? So we want to focus on the technology and the product first. But right now we have the technology, we have the product, and we are ready, and we are very confident on our ecosystem building part. David. Can you hear me? So yes, David, please meet our blockchain developer community here in Belarus, Minsk. And everyone, please meet David, the CEO of MOAC. So David, basically, I have talked through some of the problems and some of the challenges in existing blockchain industry, and some of the features that we want to achieve with MOAC. So if you can take it from here and basically share more information about how MOAC has been solving this problem, it's gonna be great. All right, it's all yours.
Perfect.
There you go. All right, David, it's all yours.
Okay, great. So yeah, I will be a little bit into technical side. So if you guys have any questions, you can stop him and ask. So the problem I want to try to solve is we call well, it's Ethereum brought this out first. So the trilemma problem. So basically, in a distributed blockchain, we need to solve three problems, hopefully at the same time. One is decentralization, one is security, and on top of that will be scalability. So this means we need to have a lot of nodes for decentralized setup. And those nodes should be secure, and they can against any fixed number of attacks. And also at the same time, we hope that the whole system can process more than just one node can do. Say if we have 10,000 nodes, you should have like do more than if we have just 1,000 nodes. But actually, it's not very difficult to solve. It's very difficult to solve actually. So it's you probably call it impossible trilemma problem. So Ethereum is able to provide decentralization and security. However, it cannot provide scalability because all the nodes just processing the same task. If we have 10,000 nodes, and if we increase 10,000 nodes to 100,000 nodes, that's the processing power is the same. So at the same time, EOS, they kind of increase the processing capability by increasing the by introducing the supernode, but it's obviously it's less decentralized. There are also several.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Hey, David, just want to interrupt you from here that I have went through these slides. So if you can just jump onto the slides where how MOAC has been solving this problem.
Okay,
right.
That's great.
Yep.
So that's the okay, that's great. So we think it's impossible to solve the trilemma problem with just one blockchain. It's impossible. But there is a solution. We can solve this by introducing multiple chains. So the idea is we have a mother chain on the lower layer, which provides a global consistent ledger in a decentralized setup. So it can provide decentralization and security. However, on the top, we use microchain to enable scalable high-volume transactions using a different consensus protocol. So in that way, we can provide scalability by using this multi-layer setup. Okay, so maybe we can talk a little bit more about sharding. So basically, if we have 10,000 nodes, we obviously don't want those 10,000 nodes doing the same thing at the same time. We would rather maybe 100 nodes doing one task, and then we can divide 10,000 nodes into 100 groups. and now we have a parallelism of 100. So in our system, we use a smart contract as a microchain to allow parallel transaction processing. So when we deploy a smart contract, it's not just a smart contract in Ethereum, it's rather a microchain, meaning the smart contract can select its mining node. You don't need to have all 10,000 nodes. You can be just maybe 100 nodes. And you can also select consensus protocol. It could be different from your underlying. Like currently Ethereum have a POW, and we have a POW on the underlying layer as well. But on the top, if you deploy smart contract, you can choose maybe POS or other consensus protocol which fits the application task. And you can also select revert or to award each mining node. So, and the other thing is, we all know that smart contracts store a lot of data or states. We can obviously not able to put those states into the other chain because that was too much data. So in a smart microchain setup, each shard, each smart contract will optimize data storage or best throughput and reduce the pressure to store everything in the mother chain. Okay, so it's the sharding is like a technical solution, but actually the microchain is more than that. So consider we have a microchain because we have the flexibility to choose different consensus protocol in the microchain, and each microchain could provide different services. Like one microchain provides smart contract processing with POS just as a CPU, and another microchain can provide a decentralized file system. Yet another microchain could provide IoT sensor network for data collector, just as an I/O. And there may be other special purpose processors like zk-SNAP, zero knowledge. So in this way, you can expand the microchain into a bigger concept. So basically, user can, or any project developer can deploy a microchain not just for his application use. You can use this as a service for other applications as long as the application pay for them. So you have the incentive to provide a service for other applications. Now, on top of those service microchains, we can create a DAPP to utilize multiple services provided by microchain, building a really powerful, feature-rich applications. As long as the DAPP pay the fee to the microchains, and each microchain has a profit model and keep them running. And this model will keep running on and on. So we can make microchain go another step further. So let's talk about, if we wanna, if your application wanna talk with external world. For example, if you wanna build a DAPP which take the real world like basketball game result as your input, and you provide a prediction application based on the real game result. So what's the current solution to that? In current setup, we have a so-called oracle, trusted oracle. It's a centralized oracle will provide the game result to the system and feed that result to the smart contract. So the smart contract can move to the next state based on the external game result. But that's not a decentralized solution. So how we do that? Use microchain. Well, we can create a microchain as a decentralized, similar to Oracle, but using a decentralized setup. Assuming we have like maybe 100 nodes or even 10,000 nodes, they want to provide the real-world game result check. And for your application, you just need to randomly select some number of them, and you require them, each of them will provide maybe at least 2 or 3 different ways of the game result. And you can also ask one to verify maybe another 2 other members' result. That's like, this is a specific or user customized consensus protocol. But you can build a consensus protocol that way. So in that way, you can create a decentralized Oracle network. And use that network, which is a microchain, use that network to provide the feed to your smart contract. And if we can, like real-world game result is the external world to the blockchain, but if you can extend that notion to many other applications, like if you have another blockchain, you have transactions in another blockchain, you can create a microchain to connect our system to the external blockchain system by you deploy a microchain. And also you can, create a microchain to connect IoT network to our system. Or you can create another microchain to connect IPFS network or Tor network to our system. So basically, microchain, because it's a flexibility, you could have the consensus protocol which enables you to connect our system to the external world, not just to the cross-chain automatic swap between MOAC and other blockchain systems. You can actually do much more. Basically, microchain creates a way to connect MOAC with external network. Okay, so let me emphasize the open ecosystem we create. So we have 2 layers. We have 2 blockchain layers. Bottom layer we're using POW, just as Ethereum system. On the top layer, we have many microchains, and each microchain could have its own consensus protocol. So on the top layer, we create a second layer mining we call SCS mining. So because we don't need to do any POW consensus, the up layer mining is really low requirement, and we can hope that there may be 100 nodes or even millions of nodes to participate in the system, and they could form a different mining pool with various consensus protocols. So based on those miners provide different mining capability, we can develop multiple microchain services. As I mentioned earlier, it could be a CPU, which may be based on POS or POPBFT. It could be a I/O, it's a data collector like IoT sensor network. It could also be a storage service like IPFS network or Storage or Tor network. So if we have that many services available, we could create a really powerful application. And we design the system purposely to be application friendly. There was no fee for microchain app users to use the application. All the fee will be paid by the app program or the app creator. So that will create a lot of applications for users, not just limited to the crypto world. It could be ordinary mobile users. Now, if we have thousands of applications, that will encourage more miners, the up layer miners, to create a service for them. So that created a positive feedback. If we have more miners, we have more processing power for the system, and you could support more applications on the system. that created a open system rather than the closed system, closed mining system as we have right now. Okay, so basically that's the microchain features. So if we look back, we look at Bitcoin. So it's introduced in 2008. Its most purpose is for use token. And in 2015, for Ethereum, the most use of it is issue token. You can issue ERC20 or any other tokens. So we think in the coming years, with the MOAC system, what you can do is you deploy chains and use chains. And blockchain will be internet of chains. Thank you. I think that's my thought.
Thank you, David. Maybe somebody have questions to David? Yeah? Oh, couple, third question.
Hello, David. Thank you very much for your presentation. And my question is about when do you plan to start a testnet or product version of your deploy chain service? Thank you.
Okay, so we have an underlying mainnet running for almost 20 days, and we are going to release a testnet with subchain, the microchain capability, probably around 20 days in the testnet. So you can try to use our feature to deploy microchains in the testnet. That will be like within a week.
Thank you.
David, thank you for your presentation. Could you clarify the difference between your chain and Cosmos? In which way it is similar, and what is the principal differences between them?
Cosmos is more like a microchain itself, try to connect multiple blockchains. It's more like a go back. So basically, Cosmos is more like a microchain here connects like a Bitcoin or connect Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it does not have a layered architecture as we do. And we know the underlying layer is very critical because it provides enough security, meaning it can against a large DDoS attack. Cosmos itself is trying to connect multiple blockchains together, but I don't know how many nodes it will have. But it looks like it will be not as secure as like a public chain like Ethereum.
And I have the second question. My apologies, but I missed this information. What is your consensus mechanism?
So the underlying layer is the same as the Ethereum, which is the POW. On top, each microchain has its own consensus protocol, and we will provide two standard implementation. One is the POS, which is like a CPU, and we will also provide a IPFS consensus protocol, just as like file point. So we provide a CPU and a distributed file system as a two standard module.
Thank you.
I have a question about your mother chain. Why did you choose proof of work consensus for it?
Okay, I think there are a couple of reasons. First, I think a POW is probably the only verified solution in public chain setup. Like Bitcoin been running for almost 9 years, Ethereum been running for like 4 or 5 years. And we are talking about like POS can save energy, but it hasn't been really tested in a large scale. And there could be some concerns in the community. One is, for a POS, it creates a scenario that rich will become richer, and then full will become fuller, and kind of concentrate the token to the token who has more tokens. And the other question is the POS. We have like long-range attack problem, and Ethereum tried to create checkpoints for solution for that, but it's not that easy to solve. So we will wait and see how Ethereum will handle the POW to POS transition. If that's really successful, we are open to that. We can also, change the underlying consensus protocol from POW to any good ones. But on the top of that, the microchains, it's kind of independent. So a microchain can have its own consensus protocols as user one.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Any other questions? That's all. Thank you, David, for your presentation. I think we will disconnect you now. Yeah, Ryan, can you say goodbye to audience? Bye.
Thank you so much, David.